Did someone tell you not to brag? Like at some point in your life, did somebody say, oh, don't get so cocky. Maybe you really shouldn't be out there, spreading your wings. Maybe they didn't say it that way, but really, they tell you not to brag. They may have stunted your career opportunities. Really. I'm Lilli Cloud, and I am the founder of Bluefeet, which is an awesome organization that helps people get and succeed in a career that serves them and the world. I call it career marketing. It's kind of a new thing, but that's really what it is, because you need to market yourself in order to be successful in your career. That's the world we live in today, really. So today I'm going to talk about bragging. I know. And this is particularly focused about women and bragging, okay? Because we got it bad. Maybe your mother, your grandmother from a very different generation was like, oh, no, you shouldn't brag. You shouldn't be too full of yourself. Well, that might have worked for Granny, who was probably staying home, raising the kids. But for those of you who need to have a job and really want to have a career, Granny's advice in this particular instance isn't really what you need. Now, I get it. Nobody wants to be that, like, I'm so awesome, right? And sadly, we do associate this more with men than with women. Okay, but it happens with women too. But they're like, I'm so great, and I'm like telling the world how awesome I am, or I'm like making stuff up. Practically, it seems like it. Or here's one of the questions I often ask my clients: what pisses you off that a competitor, could be a colleague, okay, competitor says that you think, well, I can do that, and I do it better than they do? Think about that. Well, because they're an obnoxious bragger is what it seems like. But here's the thing. You need to be able to talk about yourself in order to be successful. Okay? That's the bottom line. I'm going to give you two numbers right now. Think about this. The first number, 45%. The second number is 90%. Okay, so 45% is the qualifications that a man feels like he needs to meet in order to speak up and say, yeah, I'm right for that job. I'm the guy for that. He only needs to feel like he meets 45% of the qualifications. Women, that 90% number, women, bad news for you. Women feel like they need to have 90% of the qualifications in order to speak up and say, yeah, I'm the right person for the job. Okay, that's not good, because guess who's going to get the job? It's the person who speaks up. So what do? I get you don't want to be the obnoxious bragger. I also get that men can say things in one way, and a woman who says it the same way doesn't really land equally. I get that. I get that there are challenges, but you've got to say something. You've got to speak up, or you're going to miss out on opportunities. So speak to your strengths factually, okay? You're not making stuff up that you haven't really done. Fake achievements will not get you where you want to go. Okay. But I bet you've done a lot of awesome things. And so speak to your strengths also, not just your achievements, things you've actually done, your strengths, which are your talents. And I love the Gallup Strengths Finder for that. I love it. Okay. And then also be prepared to address your weaknesses. And by weakness, I don't mean that you're weak. What I mean is the things that that are on this list of criteria that they're looking for that you don't necessarily have locked down. Okay, so how are you going to address those? What do you bring to the table that might fill in, or what are you going to learn, or is there somebody you could call on to fill in that for you so that you could achieve this? But just be prepared to address the criteria that you don't lead with that. Don't necessarily volunteer it. I don't recommend that. Okay, go with your strengths. Here's all the great reasons why I will rock this opportunity, whether that's a stretch assignment at a job that you have, whether that's potentially a new job, whether it's getting on a board, whatever it is, this opportunity, here's how I'm going to rock it. And be prepared to address ways in which you don't specifically meet the criteria. And that is going to make you be successful. And that's not bragging, okay? That is just sharing about yourself in a way that is authentic, but also is bold and confident enough to say, hey, I'm right for this. Now, if you're not sure whether you meet the criteria or you're not feeling particularly confident, but it's something you're interested in, find a trusted colleague or a friend who can tell you the truth, not just who's like, oh, you're so awesome, you can do anything. I mean, that's great to have friends like that, but I'm talking about a friend who has some career experience, maybe even knows your industry, maybe it's a colleague or a mentor, and ask them, okay, I'm interested in this. This is how I think I line up with it. What do you think? And they may have some perspective that you don't. And they may be willing to be bolder on your behalf. And that can embolden you to know what to say about yourself. So it's not bragging if you're just talking about your talents and your gifts. And by the way, how are we going to know that you can do this stuff if you don't tell us? How? Like, it's your job to communicate that. It's not my job as the boss or, the potential person who's hiring you or choosing you to just imagine and figure this out. Okay, it's your job to communicate that. And that is not bragging. That's what I call sharing. Some people would call it selling. I call it sharing. There's a wonderful book by Daniel Pink called To Sell is Human. And it is. And I will talk about that more another day. But the bottom line is we all do it. We all need to do it. And you can do it. So somewhere between bragging and modesty is a beautiful place that gets you where you want to go. And in turn, when you are where you want to go, doing what you were meant to do, using your gifts and your talents, the world is all better off. All of us are better off because of it. See you next week. Bye.